That's right. Close your eyes and you can almost imagine you're inside Moda Center, even though this wasn't away game. Because tonight they are victorious. Your Portland Trailblazers go into Atlanta and grab the 127-113 victory over the Atlanta Hawks. Welcome into the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here with you. If you want to join the conversation with us tonight, 503-248-0620 is that telephone number. Or you can go over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and join the conversation there. A good night for your Portland Trailblazers, a night that makes you perhaps falsely cling on to hope about getting into the play. And we'll look at the NBA scores from around the league here in just a little bit. But the Blazers went into Atlanta against the team that, as we talked about pregame, they are a play-in team in the East right now. They are sitting there at number 7 in the East. So you know what? This is not a slouch of a team, but we talked about record-wise how the Blazers are a team that is just like Atlanta, a 32-win team versus a 36-win team versus a 37-win team. They're all right in that same range, right? So you got Portland, you got even Phoenix, who's a 35-win team. They're all right there playing similar. So we said it, that this was a winnable game, right? That Portland could go in there and get the job done. And heck, they did. They absolutely did. So kudos to them. The Hawks led 27-26 after one in a first quarter. That was just kind of just basketball. Like how else can you say it? Yeah, in that first quarter, it was the biggest lead for the Blazers was 6 points. Biggest lead for the Hawks was 3 points. There was 4 lead changes throughout that first quarter, and there was only 7 lead changes in the game. Right, so that was basketball right there because they were going back and forth. It was really kind of playing out like it was a matter of which team got their footing first, right? Now, the Blazers did get that going in the second quarter. They outscored the Hawks 31-27 after trailing 27-26 in the first. So they had the 57-54 lead at halftime. Denny Avdia had 16 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists, so he was on triple-double watch. Shaedon Sharpe had 16 points, 5 rebounds at the half. Trae Young had just 7 points for the Atlanta Hawks. And as I said, the way this game was playing out, it was really feeling like which team was going to get their footing first. Well, in the third quarter, the Blazers started on a quick 11-5 run. That pushed their lead to 9. And then the Hawks would call a timeout, and from that point on, the Blazers just turned it on. They extended that run at one point to 26-12 to grab the 83-66 lead. They outscored Atlanta 40-30 in that quarter. They led 97-84 after 3 quarters. Now, in the fourth quarter, Atlanta tried to come back. They had a quick 8-0 run, made it a single-digit game at 97-92. Things were like, oh, gosh, here we go. What's going on? But the Blazers just had an answer. Denny Avdia would eventually hit a three-pointer to give him 30 points on the night, and the Blazers would keep turning it on there. The Hawks called a timeout with 3:05 left. The Blazers were up 122-109 at that point, and you know what? The rest of it is just Blazer basketball. Over those last 3 minutes, they outscored the Hawks 5-4. Oh, yeah, barn burner in those last 3 minutes. But the Blazers do grab the 127-113 victory. So good job, Portland Trailblazers. Taking a look at the box score, Zachariah Richache, something like that. I've listened over and over to Travis pronouncing that name, and I'm like, yep, I'm going to butcher that one. It was it was just one of those names I cannot say, but he had 9 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. Okongwu had 12 points as well. Look, this is the all-name team. Holy smokes. 22 points from Dyson Daniels to go along with 10 rebounds. And then Trae Young, who only had 7 points in the first half, turned it on. He had 29 points when it was all said and done to go along with 15 assists. 10 points from Karis LeVert off the bench. Now, the Blazers. There's some good box score numbers here. Let's start with Denny Avdia, who has been on an absolute tear for your Trailblazers as of late. As we said at halftime, he had 16 points, 9 boards, and 6 assists. He was on triple-double watch. Well, guess what? He doubled that 16 points in the second half. He ended with 32 points, 15 boards, 10 assists. Another Denny Avdia triple-double, and his hot end to the season just continues. 18 points for Tumani Kamara, who was in foul trouble in this one, still managed to play 30 minutes, but he did foul out. And then 11 points and 7 boards, 5 assists as well for Donovan Clingan. So a very good game from him. And I've been saying for a while that what I really want to see at the end of this season is the Shaden Sharp I Have Arrived game. Now, I don't know if this was it, but it sure did feel good. 33 points, 10 rebounds, 11 to 25 from the floor. He also had 3 assists and 2 steals. He did everything in this one. That is, if Shaden Sharp can play like that, like you heard in the pregame show, Tom Habisrow talking about how Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's on a crazy streak of like 50 games where he's scored at least 25 points or some nonsense like that. Like if you can get to a point where Shaden Sharp is consistently having these type of performances, whether it's, 23, 24, 25, 33 points, akin to like Damian Lillard, right? Who was like, yep, he's going to go out there and get his 20 plus. Then you're in a really, really good spot. Delano Banton, who got the start because there was no Anthony Simons or Scoot Henderson in this one, he ended with 11 points, 7 boards, 5 assists, and 4 blocks. So a very good game for Delano Banton. Matisse Thybulle had 8 points. Dwap Reith had 5. Jabari Walker had 9. So a pretty good performance from the bench when they needed it, right? We had talked about that yesterday. They had a whole 4 points off the bench yesterday. They end with 22 off the bench tonight. And we did also talk about in the pregame show about it would be nice to spell the starters just a little bit. Now, Denny Avdia still played 38 minutes and Shaden Sharp still played 38 minutes. All right. But you did get 29 minutes off the bench from Matisse Thybulle, 16 minutes off the bench from Dwap Reith, 15 minutes off the bench from Jabari Walker, and then 12 and a half minutes from Chris Murray. So it was nice to see those bench guys play a few more minutes and get the starters just a little bit of a rest. And again, that was a good performance from your Trailblazers. That's what they needed. What did we talk about were our keys to the game? Because I like to point out when sometimes my keys are right, because sometimes they're wrong, but sometimes they are right. What is it like? Smooth Jimmy's lock of the week. When you're right 48% of the time, you're wrong 52% of the time. All right. Well, one of our keys was you got to keep this team below 50% from the floor, because 4 games in a row, the team that had beat Portland on that 4-game losing streak shot better than 50%. In fact, 3 of those teams shot better than 54% from the floor. Well, guess what? They held Atlanta to 44% from the floor, while Portland shot 45%. So that is good. Secondarily, we said win the rebound battle. These are 2 teams that average right about the same amount of rebounds per game. Portland is the 15th best rebounding team. Atlanta was the 13th best rebounding team. And Portland won that rebounding battle 54-45. So that is pretty nice. They got the offense going. They stopped the defense they stopped the other offense like they needed to. And then they won that rebound battle. Also 30 assists for your Portland Trailblazers. Very, very nice to see. What a game. What a game. Biggest lead for your Trailblazers in this one was 18. Biggest lead for Atlanta was 6. There were 7 lead changes. They were tied 7 times. Kudos to your Portland Trailblazers. So now, again, a win here lets you hold on to that hope, whether it be regular, good hope or false hope, right, of getting in to the play-in. They are still 3.5 back of Sacramento, just 2 games back of the Suns, who have lost 4 in a row. And so there's still a sliver of hope, but there's only 6 games left, and you got to rattle some wins off here. The crazy part is your next 3 games, right? Toronto, Chicago, and San Antonio. That's a chance to win some ball games, let me tell you what. Oh, yeah, you got Utah in there, too. Yeah, you got a chance to win some ball games. We might have thought this was out of the woods, but this might get very, very interesting moving forward. Still don't think they're the play-in team, but boy, howdy, is it going to get interesting. We did talk about how, they got to pass the Mavericks. Well, the Mavericks might not be the team we were worried about, because Sacramento's fallen a little bit, man, which is why that game in Sacramento that they lost, boy, howdy, does that one loom large
it
right now.
In hindsight, absolutely.
That would have changed a whole lot.
Especially when we talked about how,
different.
the Blazers' energy wasn't quite there in that game. Considering what was at stake, Chris, that's one of the frustrating parts of a, rebuild, young team, all those things.
You'd be sitting there, 2 games back, basically. Much different.
Yeah, we'd be like, okay.
Much different perspective. But again, once again, Blazers go into Atlanta, grab the 127-113 113 victory. If you want to join the conversation with us, 503-248-0620 is that telephone number. You can also go over youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, join the conversation, get in on the chat over there. And of course, you can follow me as well at Chris J. Burkhardt on social media over there on YouTube, by the way. Yanni, Denny, that's all he says. Yeah, what a game from Denny Avdia. Another triple-double. He is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. And then the orb says, falsely clinging to hope. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Well played. But again, it's if you're clinging to hope, you know what? That's fine. As I said a second ago, maybe you can falsely cling to hope, but it is fun, right? Because I've said this a few times to all you listeners out there, and that is, if you would have told me that at the end of March, start of April, that this team would actually still not yet be mathematically eliminated from the play-in, would still have a realistic chance, getting there. I guess maybe not super realistic, but still, if you would have told me that, I wouldn't have believed you. I would not have believed you, but here they are. Here they are, sitting there with, again, still not mathematically eliminated. Perhaps logically eliminated, but not mathematically. Han says, is Denny taller than Luka? Yes, by 3 inches. So there you go. There's that. Air Weldon. Let's go. That's right. Yeah, go Rip City. Have some fun. And man, Denny is just, boy, he's unstoppable right now. It is so fun to watch him play. He is hopefully doing something that he can sustain over the long term and prove that this is not a fluke. And you know what? I think early on in the year, we saw a couple of these type games and you thought maybe it might be. But right now, he is doing this consistently putting these types of performances together. And boy, howdy, does it make you excited for what he can bring to the future of this team, because he's incredible right now. And there's really nothing else you could say about it. All right, this is the fifth quarter. We're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, it's time for your drive of the night and shot of the night. We'll continue to talk about this game here as the Blazers grab the victory over the Hawks on the road, 127-113. Again, join the conversation, 503-248-0620, or head on over to YouTube and hold down the chat with everyone else. We'll be back after the commercial break right here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620.
It's time for the fifth quarter shot of the night on your home of the Portland Trailblazers, 620 Rip City Radio.
Nine to shoot. Bible will get it in. Looks for Denny. Quick three. Buries it. With a hand in his face, he's got 30 again.
It's time for the fifth quarter drive of the night on your home of the Portland Trailblazers, 620 Rip City Radio.
Daniels ups the ball to the front court, but stolen by Thibault. Thibault drives, takes it to the rim, and lays it in. More points off of turnovers for the Blazers, and they lead at 26-23.
Welcome back into the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here with you, breaking down the Trailblazers' 127-113 victory over the Atlanta Hawks. We had a good question there in the YouTube chat, and that was, if we get in the play-in, we being the Portland Trailblazers, do we lose our draft pick? And the answer is, it depends. Because getting into the play-in does not lose you your draft pick, but getting one of the top 8 seeds when it's all said and done does, right? So you get into the play-in, and then if you get through the play-in into the playoffs, yeah, then you're going to lose your pick. But getting into the play-in does not mean you lose it. So there's the answer to that. And yeah, that's that. Also, man, just what a game. What a game. It was so nice to see Shaedon Sharpe go off and have just a great performance, a double-double, 2 30-point double-doubles by your Trailblazers tonight. And obviously that incredible triple-double from Deni Avdija. And as the stats pertain to that, it was a pretty special one, and it puts him in some exclusive company, as according to the Trailblazers PR in a tweet they sent out just a few moments ago. That is tonight's 32-point, 15 rebound, 10 assist performance marks Deni Avdija's second triple-double of the season. Avdija is the 5th player in the NBA this season with multiple 30-point triple-doubles. The 4 players he joins: Nikola Jokic, LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Luka Doncic. Pretty good company. Also, Avdija is also just the 4th player in the NBA this season to record games of 30-plus points, 15-plus rebounds, and 10-plus assists. The other players to have such games: Nikola Jokic, Jason Tatum, and Jimmy Butler. Point is, Deni Avdija is playing lights out right now. That is some pretty good company. Pretty good company. As Hans says, see, he's a taller version of Luka. The stats prove it. He's in the same category as him. Hey, I'll take it. He is playing incredibly well right now. And who's to say that maybe this is all what he needed? I mean, Portland Trailblazer fans have scars that remain, 2 decades later from trading Jermaine O'Neal and watching him become an all-star in Indiana, right? Well, perhaps Portland can be the one that scars Washington fan a little bit as they watch Deni Avdija become a star here in Portland. He's playing like it right now. When he has been given the keys, he's looking incredible. Han says, jokes aside, Denny's play looks sustainable. It does. And I get the Luka jokes. It makes you just smile a little bit. Luka is a one of one, and we all know that, right? But Deni, what he's doing right now is incredible. And as people are saying, I think what makes it interesting as we continue to move forward is it does not look like an anomaly. This looks like some sustainability behind it, right? As Han says. And like early in the year, when he was having those games where he's, 16, 8, and 7, you're like, this is good. Hopefully he can do it more often. It was nice to see them. And then he'd fall back down, and then he'd get another one. Nice to see it. Now we've got to the point where it's like when he has one of those, 15, 5, and 3, you're like, oh, it was an off night for Deni. Like, that is how good he has been playing as of late, is that when he goes out there and has what a lot of people would think is still a good game, you're like, yeah, it's kind of an off night for him. Right. So if he could continue to play like this moving forward, you get obviously the defense that you get out of Toumani Camara, and then you go build the roster the way you want to build it. Man, there's plenty of upside here, so I can understand why people are excited. This is the fifth quarter. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to join the conversation, Chris J. Burkhardt is the name on social media. Also, Head on over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, get in on the chat there as well. And of course, 503-248-0620 is that telephone number. And with the Blazers win, I guess we can do a little scoreboard watching, shall we? So let's look at what's going on around the league in a game that really does not impact the Blazers. It's Timberwolves Nuggets, and Denver is up 49-42 with 3 minutes left in the first half. Nikola Jokic, 21 points and 6 rebounds already. The Knicks beat the 76ers 105-91. The Bucks take down the Suns 133-123. Devin Booker, 39 points, 11 assists. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 37 points and 11 assists. In San Antonio, the Magic beat the Spurs 116-105. So that does not help when it comes to the tankathon standings, because you need a couple of wins from San Antonio, right? That's what you need. But they have now lost 5 in a row, and hopefully not getting too much ground against Portland if that's what you're rooting for. But you know what? You still got play-in hopes. It's all crazy right now. You got, like, it used to be like, oh, do you want to do this? You want to do that? You're like legit like 50-50 in it right now. And it's a little crazy which road you can take. When you come to a fork in the road, take it. All right. The Raptors fall to the Bulls 118-137. And the Warriors beat the Grizzlies 134-125. So there is your updates from around the league tonight. And again, the win for your Trailblazers puts them in an interesting spot. So they are now 30.5 back overall, but Sacramento is 27 back, and they have lost 2 in a row. The Suns have lost 4 in a row, and they are just 2 ahead of the Trailblazers. So now Portland is they're in a spot like if the Kings lose their next game, then realistically, Portland is sitting there going, you have to win 4 games over your next 6. You have to win 4 more games than the Kings and the Suns. And can both those teams continue to tumble? Who knows? Because neither one of them has been playing incredibly good basketball, except that Sacramento game against Portland, which, again, now looms very, very large in the grand scheme of things. But still, there's hope there. Now, in the tankathon standings, for the rest of you who are looking at where the Blazers could get in the NBA draft, that one is interesting because Toronto, who was on, a 5-game win streak, they lost tonight. San Antonio lost. They have now lost 5 in a row. Portland with the win creates a little bit of a gap. So now Portland is 1.5 back of San Antonio for the 8 spot and 5 back of Toronto. And there was a legit chance there I say legit, and I use that way too loosely. There was mathematically a chance there to catch Toronto for a second, and there still is. What you would need to happen is you need to win your next 6 games, and you need Toronto to, lose all of them. I don't think Portland's going to win 6 in a row. You never know. I've been wrong before. But that 8 seed, which is still worth watching, that's just a game and a half, and keep in mind, Portland still has San Antonio on the schedule, so things are getting a little interesting, especially with that next game being against Toronto. Now, if Portland goes into Toronto on Thursday and wins that game, wave bye-bye to the mathematical chances of getting to the 7th seed. It's just not going to happen, right? But also, they win that game, then you start looking a little bit closer at the play-in and how crazy things are right now, because boy howdy, there is now 6 games left, and Portland is still making us watch the standings, watch the scores, and people are interested. Like, it doesn't really matter what side of the aisle on, because you're watching both, right? You are watching the standings and the scores because you want to see where Sacramento, Dallas, and Phoenix did that night. And you are also watching the other side because you want to see what Chicago, San Antonio, and Toronto did. There's a lot of interest right now. And again, to reiterate, if you would have told me that back in November, that on April 1st, this is what we'd be doing, I would have told you that that's way too early for a cheesy April Fool's joke. But here we are. Here we are. It's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. Now, people are talking about Denny. Kobe says the Wizards had no clue how to use him. Speaking about Denny, right? Han says, to be fair, Denny didn't know what was in him either. And you know what? I think this is one of those things right now where he talked about it, Coach talked about it, about finding each other, right? And finding out how to get the most out of him. And Denny has talked, and he did so as recently as I think it was last game, talking about how he's been put in positions this year that he hasn't been put in before. And I think mainly that is what? Ball in his hands, running the offense, being the primary guy. He's not battling with a Kyle Kuzma. You know what I'm saying? Like, he is just going out there and doing what he needs to do, and it is leading to him playing loose and free and playing the best basketball of his career. So that, like I said, it's like the whole Jermaine O'Neal thing, right? It's easy to be upset that Jermaine O'Neal turned into an all-star, but he was also playing behind a stacked lineup of bigs in Portland, right? You send him off, they find a way to use him properly, and you're like, haha, guess what? You guys had a gem there, and you let us have it. That happens in the NBA sometimes, and perhaps Denny Avdia might just be the gem Portland needed. There's a reason Portland attached assets to get off of Malcolm Brogdon and get him, and no one thought that was going to be the case. I sat here and told you Malcolm Brogdon will get you a draft asset back. I was wrong. You had to attach one to him to get Denny. We all were like, ooh, that's weird. Well, I think people are going to very easily forget about that trade if Denny keeps playing like this moving forward. And as we've talked about, if he keeps playing like this, Portland has the best contract in the NBA, without a doubt. He's getting paid $15 million this year, and that's the most he's going to get paid per year over the next 4 years because it de-escalates. That is nice. Once again, if you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number, or head on over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and join everyone there. We're going to take a quick little break here on the fifth quarter. When we come back, it's time to head to the Coach's Corner, hear what Coach Billups had to say following this win, and hand out game balls and continue to answer any questions you have there in the chat. Chris Burkhardt here with you on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Welcome back into the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here with you, breaking down this Blazers victory over the Atlanta Hawks, 127-113. But I think it's time to hear what Coach had to say. It is time for the Coach's Corner.
For the latest on tonight's game, we head to the Coach's Corner with Chauncey Billups.
I mean, I loved how we played the entire night. You know, we talked about how important it was to get off to a good start. We had 8 turnovers in our game against them in Portland, getting them off to a really good start because they're so disruptive defensively. And, you know, we had 11 at the half, so that was one of the areas of concern, and I tried to talk them through that. But they took advantage of us a little bit in the first and second quarter. Their leak outs, their run outs, they was getting some transition baskets. And I wanted us to stay locked in on our offensive rebounding. You know, I thought we could have a big night against them, and we did. We get 32 second chance points, our biggest night of the season. But sometimes those leak outs can deter you. You know, you're so worried about getting back that you don't go to the glass. I thought our guys stayed focused on that. And we just did it together. I mean, obviously, Denny had a big night, triple-double. Shaden had a huge night, double-double. You know, I thought Tumani's night was huge, even though he was in foul trouble. You know, Delano had a really good second half, 4 blocks in the game. Only 6 turnovers in the second half, which was huge, especially against a team, you know, that leads the league in steals, or second in the league in steals, and second in deflections. Some big nights, some big games for these guys.
You mentioned Shaden yesterday after practice. I asked him what's been the key to his play, and he said being aggressive, but also I was curious what you thought about his decision-making while being aggressive.
I thought it was good. And that's the one thing I'm always telling Shay, you know, just continue to stay aggressive. You know, some nights you're going to be making, sometimes you won't, but your aggressiveness allows other guys to get shots, you know. So he stayed on the attack the entire night. I thought he was great. We needed him on the glass big time. You know, to get 25 rebounds from between he and Denny is a big deal. You know, a big deal. So I thought Shaden was awesome all night, defensive end too.
It seemed like Denny tonight too, early on in the game, it seemed like he really got off to a fast start. And it feels like he's done that a lot for you this season, kind of getting, at least on the offensive end, kind of sparking things. Have you seen that at all? And I guess, you know, we talked so much about Denny on this trip, but like, what have you kind of learned about ways to utilize him this season?
Well, I'm just utilizing him in every way. You know, there's nothing that I say maybe not. Like, I'm trying everything with him, and he's doing a really good job with it. Again, him too. I want our guys to be aggressive. I always want to be the aggressor. As a team, period. Offensively, defensively, that's what we strive to do and be. And Denny starts off the game really attacking. I just believe in that. I believe in hitting first and trying to get your opponent on his heels and retreating. And we've done a pretty good job of that.
You mentioned the second half, especially third quarter. You guys outscored them by 10. I think you shot like 60% from the field.
Yeah.
Kind of what did you guys talk about in the locker room that resulted in that? Because it really seemed like there was a bit of a change from the first half to the second.
Yeah, we you know, again, I thought we had a pretty good half. The first half just against this team, but we talked about taking care of the ball. Got to take care of the ball, man. You know, they were scoring a ton in transition on us, and a lot of it was self-inflicted wounds. So I talked about that, not playing in crowds, sharing the ball, moving the ball. Nobody was going to do it on their own. You know, I told Denny, I told Shay both at halftime, neither one of y'all can win it by yourself. Continue to be unselfish, continue to make the right passes, the right plays, and they did that. And still had huge nights. You know, they're just that good.
You guys shot the ball better than them tonight. I know you and I discussed your team defense, what you wanted to see from your guys tonight. Did you see what you wanted to?
I did. We did a really good job. Our pressure, I thought, was really good. Our physicality was really good. Obviously, a guy like Trae Young gets 29 and 15, and I feel like we did a really good job against him. That's just how good of a player he is. But I thought we impacted everywhere else. The glass, we won the glass, get 30 assists in the game. You know, I thought we just did a really good job.
Who is the MVP tonight for the Trailblazers? It's time for Game Balls on Fifth Quarter.
Welcome back into the fifth quarter. There you hear Coach Billups, and I assure you that was not recorded in the shower nor next to it, but it sounded like it.
Weird audio today.
You know,
it happens.
Is what it is. It's probably, I don't know. It's the Big Apple. Was there a rat chewing through the cable?
I mean, something like it's Atlanta's fault, right?
Yeah,
so that's
I guess
easy.
that Big Apple was last game. See, I'm all confused. I'm all confused. That's weird. It's weird. It's so weird though. Like you always ask me about arenas, man, and it's like I don't even know where they do that because like I know where they used to do all the coaches' availabilities, but it was just in the hallway. Now they set them up at like even the away coaches they set up in a little presser. So, I don't know where they set that up. Anyway, game ball. Yeah. Can I give it to Denny 2 nights in a row? Yeah, I think I can. What a game from Denny Avdia. 32 points, 15 boards, 10 assists. As you heard the stat earlier, he's put in some very elite company with that triple-double. Only, 2 players? Excuse me. Yeah, let's get this right when I say it. The 5th player in the NBA this season with multiple 30-point triple-doubles, joining Nikola Jokic, LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Luka Doncic. He's also just the 4th player in the NBA this season to record a game of 30 points and 15 boards and 10 assists, joining Nikola Jokic, Jason Tatum, and Jimmy Butler. So, yeah, pretty good company there to be with, and hopefully he continues that hot streak of play, man. This looks like something that's sustainable. This looks like something that you can definitely build on. And yeah, that's wonderful. Now you get Tumani going, you get DC going, you get Sharp going, you get Scoop back. Then I like what we got. But the Blazers will be back in action in a few days. We'll see what happens there because, again, we got a scoreboard watch a little bit. I talked about Sacramento. That's the team you're watching right now. Unfortunately, if you're a Blazer fan, their next 2 games are they got Washington and Charlotte. Yeah, the 2 probably worst teams in this league, not even taking record into account, just the 2 worst teams when it comes to playing the game of basketball. Also, they have Cleveland, Detroit, and Denver and LA after that. But I would say, unfortunately, their last game of the year is against the Phoenix Suns. So no matter what, Phoenix or Sacramento is guaranteed to gain a game on you at that point. So you got to put distance between, and that's going to be tough to do down the stretch. But still, it is intriguing to see this standings, see how things are going out, and the fact that, you will care about a Kings versus Wizards game going on tomorrow. It's pretty awesome to have that feeling again right now. Hopefully they can build on it, and this is not a one-off. Next year might be fun. All right, that's going to do it for the show today. Once again, Blazers go to Atlanta. They grab the 127-113 victory over the Atlanta Hawks. Denny Avdia, 32 points, 15 boards, 10 assists. Shaedon Sharpe, also a 33-point, 10-rebound double-double. 2 30-point double-doubles on the team tonight. And those 2 guys combined for 65 points. Not bad at all. But again, the Blazers will be back in action on Thursday as they go back up the coast and cross the border into the beautiful city of Toronto. Tip off at 4:30. I will have Blazers game day for you at 2:30, all right here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Once again, Blazers go into Atlanta, take down the Hawks 127-113. Until Thursday, Rip City, we'll talk to you on the next one.